Alright guys, welcome back to another raid video today. In this video, I want to talk about live arena. So the live arena is not currently open. I did a lot of battle today, alright? And I would say my win rate is about 70%, something like that. So yeah, 77%. I think it's around 70% when I'm going against those like top whales, which I don't think is too good, to be honest. Alright, and the reason I didn't make the video is because I also have this type of connection issue. When I was in a battle, it just disconnect and I will never be able to get back to the same fight. So yeah, but in this video I want to talk about the pick and ban, alright? The pick and ban strategy, because this is really the mind game. This is very important in order to win a live arena battle. Alright, I want to talk about at least my thoughts about what you should do when you're doing pick and ban in the live arena battle. So maybe I can, let's just assume this is 5 champions from live arena, right? I'm gonna share with you guys some of my thoughts about how you should do the pick and ban. I did a collaboration with Deadwood Jedi talking about my thoughts already, but that was before the whole thing went live. So I think the very first essential thing you should do when you are doing live arena battle is you're gonna pick 2 damage dealer. Alright, this is so essential. If you don't pick 2 damage dealer, and you're gonna lose. That's how simple it is, right? The enemy bans your damage dealer and you have no damage. Unless you want to stall like 30 minutes in the battle, it just doesn't make sense. You have to pick 2 damage dealer. It doesn't have to be these 2. It can be 2 AoE damage dealer or 2 single target damage dealer. But with single target damage dealer, you have to be very careful with ultimate Death Knight. Alright, you gotta be very careful with ultimate Death Knight. And if you're picking 2 single target damage dealer and the enemy has ultimate Death Knight, you have to ban them. You have to ban them. Okay, so and I think rotos has a counter, which is ultimate Death Knight, but I think AoE damage dealer doesn't really have a counter. So if you're picking first and you want to counter the enemy champion, don't want to show champion like show some niche champion first, just pick damage dealer first, because AoE damage dealer, they really don't have a counter, so you can always pick them first, right? That brings to my second point. You should always pick champions that cannot be countered first, aka like AoE damage dealer or like a CV duchess. I think CV duchess champion like this, they don't really have a counter. The only counter is probably Lydia to block revive, right? And I think these 2 champions really don't have any weakness, right? So yeah, CV, Duchess, you can always pick them first. You can always pick Terrace and marichka first. The 2 new Void Legendaries from Bannerlord faction, they're super OP. They don't really have a solution for now. And yeah, you're just gonna pick these champions first. And talking about rotos, right? I was just mentioning that you should not pick this type of single target damage dealer first, because in case the enemy is using a ultimate Death Knight, right? So this is a free champion everybody can get. And what you should do is if you want to use this champion on your team, you should not pick him first. That's very obvious, right? You should only pick him until you see a single damage dealer was picked on the enemy team. Or like if you are picking first and the enemy has a counter spot, then you're just playing this mind game, right? If the enemy already picked 2 damage dealer that is not single target, then you don't have to pick ultimate Death Knight, right? And yeah, it's still a little bit mind games, but I don't recommend you guys to pick him first, because against AoE nuker, he's not gonna help you that much, all right? And then let's talk about support champion, right? I just mentioned CV and Duchess, and I think in terms of non-revival support champion, the best you can have is Yumeko. It's very straightforward. She is probably hands down the best non-revival support champion in the game. Just put your skill cooldown, and decrease the cooldown of ally skill. Yeah, her skill kit is just overall super great. And the best thing is she has a perfect veil on herself when entering the battle, which means she cannot be debuffed, right? And of course, Warlord is still right there, right? Warlord is still super good, but I think Yumeko is a little bit better than Warlord in the current meta. And talking about support champion, right? There are also a lot of other support champion, such as buff strip champion, right? Man of Series, or Romantu champion like that. Romantu here, and we have Man Series here. But the thing is, in live arena, there is no spot for these champions, unfortunately. Alright, there's just no spot for these two champions. Imagine you have a team of 5, right? Imagine you have a team of 5. You're always gonna pick 2 damage dealer, right? You always gonna pick at least 1 reviver, right? At least 1 reviver. And then if you have a Yumeko or Warlord, you're gonna pick at least 1 of them, right? At least 1 of them. That's just how it is right now. Then there's just no spot for buff strip champion like Man Series. That's why all the live arena battles I have been through are relatively longer fight, probably at least 2 minutes, 2 minutes to 5 minutes, somewhere there, because there's just no spot for buff strip. Maybe if I don't use 2 reviver, I'll just go like this, right? And then 1 champion gets banned. It's very likely that a Warlord or Yumeko here gets banned, or Duchess, right? And then most likely the battle will become 2 nuker against 2 nuker, which is quite exciting, right? Because you know if the enemy is gonna pick 2 nuker, you're probably not gonna ban that nuker. It's just gonna be the war between nukers, who got the best nuker in the game, right? So yeah, that's just how it is. I don't see Romantu or Madame Series can make into live arena, alright? Unless you want to give up a spot for revival champion. Alright, so then let's talk about the champions I don't have, which is Terrace and Marichka, right? These 2 champions are super annoying, and I'm having a very hard time dealing with these champions because they're super OP. Alright, so for example, hold on, this one. Look at this team power, 56 mil. This is probably the biggest whale in the game, and look at what he's picking. 2 Terrace and a marichka. That was insane. So based on my experience, if you see people actually picking Terrace and marichka, you gotta ban Terrace, because I think Terrace is actually a bigger threat to your team. He got insane damage that can wipe your team. This is different compared to Arena Reset, because in Arena Reset, Marichka is super annoying because she is gonna make the battle super long, right? If you kill her, she revives everybody. But in live arena, it's different, right? Marichka is actually a lesser threat compared to Terrace. At least she doesn't do damage, right? She got an annoying skill kit, but she doesn't do damage. So in live arena, if you encounter this duo, you're gonna ban Terrace, right? You're gonna ban Terrace. So yeah, duplicates is not allowed in gold tier, so I'm not worried too much about that. If I made to gold tier, I'm just gonna ban every Terrace I see. All right. So the next one is gonna be I want to talk about speed team. So right now everybody is going kind of slow mode. Nobody really uses Arbiter, but the thing is, I think Arbiter is actually still a viable choice. Alright, you can sometimes surprise the enemy team using an Arbiter, especially pairing an Arbiter, then pairing Arbiter with a champion that is speed tuned. For example, Kaimar or Yumeko. The enemy sometimes will not expect that to happen because that is like an old meta thing, right? And then I want to talk about a thing I discussed with Deadwood Jedi in the collaboration video, because Deadwood Jedi thought that in live arena the hybrid champion will be really good, such as Rey, right? She's a damage dealer, but she can also put debuff. But the problem is, at least based on my experience on live arena, nobody picked them. Just nobody picked them. This hybrid champion. So I don't know if they're good or not. the thing is, if I don't want to lose the battle, I just don't have a spot to give them a try. Like the spot, five slots are pretty much filled with 2 revive champion, 1 yumeko or warlord, and 2 damage dealer. Alright, so right now the battle is basically just 2 damage dealer versus 2 damage dealer. Because damage dealer are relatively a lesser threat compared to annoying support champion, you know. So yeah, talking about damage, there's one champion I want to mention that really surprised me in live arena. Like, I am seeing a very high amount of people pick Harima, alright? And like, I didn't realize until I fight real person using Harima, this champion is awesome. 100% awesome. I don't have her, unfortunately. I do not have her. But like, her damage really surprised me. Like, I know what she can do, right? This provoke cannot be resisted to demon spawn champion. Like, she is a very good counter to demon spawn and undead horde, right? Sorry, no undead horde. So just demon spawn. But the thing that really surprised me is her damage. She got great damage, alright? Yeah, there was one player that used Harima, was able to take down my entire team. Harima was his only damage dealer, I believe, so her damage really surprised me. And yeah, I think Harima can be considered as a decent nuker, right? She is definitely can be considered as a very decent nuker. Alright, so yeah, I guess that's all I have right now. Right, that's all I have right now for the pick and ban strategy. Maybe I will put these on my comment section so you guys can have a discussion or taking notes, whatever. Yeah, basically, it's just you're gonna pick 2 damage dealer. You can pick AoE damage dealer first. Then you can pick a yumeko or warlord first because that's what most people do, right? Or you can pick duchess first. These champions really don't have a counter. Yeah, you 2 damage dealer and a duchess. And if you don't have yumeko or warlord, just pick revivers. Just pick revivers. Alright. And by the way, Mortal Macab is kind of out of the meta right now. Alright, nobody use him right now. Nobody use him because he's gonna get one shot by champion like a Georgian, right? So at least in higher level arena, nobody uses him right now. Alright, and then if you don't have warlord or yumeko, and maybe you can give Romantu or Madame Series a try, they might work. And really the last spot is basically ultimate Death Knight or Necro. It's just gonna be looking like this, alright? If you want to use one reviver only, it's gonna look like this. Alright, it's gonna look like this, and then one champion is gonna get banned. Very likely it's gonna be Duchess or ultimate Death Knight that gets banned. Alright, nobody really bans these 2 champions, I feel like, when I'm picking them together. Right? Who's gonna ban a nuker? So yeah, that's how it is. Like, everybody should use ultimate Death Knight, but don't pick them first. Or also Mithrala if you're not in like super high arena tier. So anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys find it informative, and I will leave my notes in the comment section. If you guys disagree, let me know in the comments below. By the way, if you guys did test out these hybrid champion, let me know if they're good or not, because I honestly never see anyone pick them. So anyways, until next time, bye.